Good afternoon and welcome to the Kape Technologies PLC 2021 Trading Update Investor Presentation. Throughout this recorded presentation, investors will be in listen-only mode. Questions are encouraged and can be submitted at any time by the Q&A tab situated in the right corner of your screen. Simply type in your questions and press send. The company may not be in a position to answer every question it receives during the meeting itself. However, the company will review all questions submitted today and publish responses where it's appropriate to do so. Before we begin, I'd like to submit the following poll. And I'd now like to hand you over to Ida Ehrlichman, CEO. Good afternoon.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Pleasure to share with you today our trading update figures for the year ended 31st of December 2021. And I'm very excited to welcome Oded Baskind, our newly designated CFO, that replaced Moran, that after 9 years with the business decided to move back to Israel. And we are very happy to be able to have a very strong bandwidth and to promote Oded, that with us in the last 7 years and was critical part of the growth journey of Kape so far, to hopefully the next CFO of the group. 2021 was a very strong year for Kape for many different aspects, both the organic achievements, the growth in the business across the different parts of the organization, and the fact that we were able to bring into completion two highly strategic acquisitions. Overall, as of the end of last year, we serve more than 6.5 million paying customers, revenues of $230 million, highly profitable business with more than 750 people across 10 different operational hubs, and remained R&D driven organization with roughly 46% of our core employees R&D engineers. I'll take you through the main operational highlights and then I'll let Oded take you through the financial updates. First of all, and it was part of our priorities for 2021, I'm very pleased that the subscriber base grown organically by 500,000 net subscribers on a net basis, which represent 18% organic growth. In addition to the contribution of ExpressVPN that takes the overall numbers of subscribers that Kape serves today to over 6.5 million customers. Both the digital privacy and the security segments grown very fast in revenues and profitability last year, with the security segment worth mentioning, driving 18% year-over-year growth in revenues that were mainly driven from subscription-based solution, the Integro endpoint security offering, which is great to see the security segment growing back to a significant growth after 2 years that we changed the focus from the PC performance to the subscription-based solution. The acquisition of Webselenese we completed in March last year. We are now 10 months into the integration program, and it's going very well. And lastly, the acquisition of ExpressVPN that we are very pleased to be able to complete before the end of last year and start 2022 with ExpressVPN already integral part of the Kape group. And lastly, before I'll hand over to Oded to take you through the financial updates, I wish him all the success in his new role as the CFO of the Kape group.
Thank you very much, Ido. Hi, everyone. So Kape, we had a very strong year with revenues ahead of expectation, reaching to 230 million, and adjusted EBITDA of 77 million, represent 97% increase from last year. Kape organic continue to deliver with revenues 5% ahead of the upper guidance. We continue this year to receive support from our investor base, and with raising equity of 356.6 million and increasing our RCF by 70 million from our club of banks.
Worth highlighting that we finished the year stronger than what we anticipated. So Kape organically, our guidance was to drive $197 to $202 million of revenues. We finished at $230 million, of which $18 million were contribution from ExpressVPN from the date we closed the transaction. So we had roughly 14 days contribution from Express. Even if we deduct the $18 million, we still generated $212 million, which is 5% above the upper end of our guidance, which is mainly a result of very strong performance in the fourth quarter of last year. In 2021, it was a milestone year in the strategic roadmap of Kape. Since we started to execute on the existing strategic roadmap, we developed the business organically and through acquisition in two main pillars. One is to get to a significant scale in numbers of paying customers, as well as building a very strong product offering that ultimately will help us to realize the vision for Kape to help people to live a more secure and private digital life. Kape today serves more than 6.5 million paying customers that drive high quality of recurring revenue, in addition to a very strong product portfolio and diversified brand offering that enable us to tailor the right offering to different types of customers in key markets. And the fact that Kape is almost not dependent on any third party in executing on our growth strategy, both from the core Kape user acquisition engine, the organic growth engine following the acquisition of Webselenese, and following the acquisition of Express, having very strong channel partner networks with millions of devices around the world coming pre-installed with the Express application. This is what puts us in a very strong position, the best position we ever been, to continue to execute into our growth strategy and continue the same journey in growing our top line fast, taking the business from $38 million of revenues in 2016 that were predominantly non-recurring by nature to $230 million in 2021, that the majority are purely subscription-based revenues, and expecting to almost triple our revenues this year to over $620 million, which is another year of growth, and the impact of consolidating ExpressVPN, and doing it whilst we are very profitable with the doubling our adjusted EBITDA margin from around 15% in 2016 to over 30% in 2021, and improved cash conversions. Part of the reason that we are seeing in 2021 and 2022 another uplift in the cash conversion ratio is the growing proportion of revenues coming from renewals. So overall, the combination of the reach, the brand offering, our ability to control our growth strategy from user acquisition channels and organic traffic sources, very strong product offering that help us to grow gradually the average revenue per user, and the fact that we built over the years very strong track record in executing earning and enhancing acquisitions, puts us in a very strong position to continue to grow the business rapidly. ExpressVPN is now completed. We already about 4 weeks into the integration program, and the team started to work together, and so far it's going well. One thing worth mentioning that is always encouraging after completing an acquisition, that the ExpressVPN numbers since we signed the deal in September were better than what we had in the model, and the combination of this financial scale with ExpressVPN, the fact that we more than doubling our subscriber base to over 6.5 million, a much larger team and much broader and deeper R&D and product capabilities, puts us in a very interesting position to continue capture a lot of the growth in the consumer privacy and security market. Webselenese, there were two angles to the rationale of buying Webselenese. So first of all, every month since we completed the deal with Webselenese, we are seeing a growing proportion of sales generated from organic traffic sources, which was a big part of the reason we wanted to buy Webselenese, as well as to continue develop Webselenese as an independent growth engine within the group. And we are very pleased with the way Webselenese was integrated and is still integrated into the group, which there's still a lot of potential, and this is part of the focus for 2022.
We continue to grow in our subscriber base on a monthly basis, creating loyal and robust customer base with high retention rate. We can see on this slide that we have a lot of users staying with Kape that they are above 2 years, and they continuing using our product.
What is nice, and this is a chart that we started to share already in 2017, that every month we were growing our subscriber base on a net basis to overall, if we take all the brands in the group, to 6.5 million customers overall, and the proportion between the younger cohorts, people that joined us in the last 2 years, and the more mature cohorts is in a very healthy position, with about 33% of our customers joining us at least 3 years ago, that drive high retention rates of above 80, even close to 90%, with fast growing activity from new sales, new signups. Before I'll move to questions. So first of all, I'm very pleased that 2021 was another year that Kape delivered more than what we communicated. This is the 5th consecutive or even 6th consecutive year that Kape continued to grow very rapidly, and we are very confident that 2022 will be, and beyond, will be great years for Kape. Our ability to continue grow our subscriber base, drive up the average revenue per user, realize the full benefits in combining ExpressVPN into the Kape group, and grow the proportion of sales coming from organic traffic sources as a benefit of having Webselenese within the group, leaves us very confident in the performance of the group. Last comment, we were very acquisitive throughout the last 5.5 years, deploying $1.2 billion on 7 earning-enhancing acquisitions. We were able to build a very strong track record to know not only to identify the right acquisitions that will add value to the group, but to integrate them properly and accelerate the growth rates of businesses that we are acquiring. And we will continue to be acquisitive. Don't expect that any significant acquisition will happen in the first 3 quarters of the year, because we're prioritizing organic growth, increase in ARPU, making sure that the integration with Express is completely on track, and realizing the full benefits of the Webselenese acquisition. But definitely, we will continue to execute on earning-enhancing acquisitions like we've done since starting to execute on our existing strategic roadmap. With that, I'll take questions. I see that there are a lot of questions, so I'll start with Barat. So how much was organic growth for the year, excluding Webselenese and ExpressVPN, and what was the organic growth for Webselenese?
So we had 5% of organic growth on pro forma revenues between 2020 to 2021. We closed ExpressVPN on the 15th, so it's been consolidated from the 16th of December.
Boss is asking, congratulations on exceptional year in 2021. What aspects of your business do you think might benefit from being supported by further acquisitive growth in 2022? Thank you very much. Indeed, 2021 was a phenomenal year for Kape, and we are very pleased with the performance of the business. The way we look on acquisitions, historically, there were three types of acquisitions that we are prioritizing: either consolidation plays to improve and capture more market share in key markets, like the PIA acquisition in 2018 and the ExpressVPN end of last year. The second type of acquisition is expansion of our product offering, with the view that ultimately want to offer the best security and privacy in every aspect of our customers' digital life. Like we've done in Tego in 2018, expanding our offering to the endpoint security market. And the third type of acquisition is to continue, protect, and develop further the competitive advantage, is that we are not dependent on any third party in executing on our go-to-market strategy. The priority for 2022, once we decided this is the right time to execute on the next acquisition, will probably be expansion of our product offering. Neil is asking, revenues are higher than forecast while EBITDA guidance is unchanged. Where have costs been higher than forecast? Okay, it's a good question, and it's important to understand. When we saw that the fourth quarter of 2021 is better than what we expected, we had a choice: either that we maximize or extracting more profits from the business, and we could easily take the adjusted EBITDA level to above $80 million, or we accelerate the investment into R&D and product, and we decided the latter, only because we have so many growth opportunities, and we had it made sense to invest the surplus in revenues, the access in revenues back into the business. It's not related to higher costs, not at all. We will continue to see the same profit margins going forward, but it was an opportunity to bring forward a lot of R&D initiatives that we plan to start in 2022, already into the fourth quarter of 2021. Question from George. Afternoon, team. Nice update. Can I ask what is the trajectory of R&D spend for 2022, given the engineering bench from ExpressVPN, but also the thought leadership input from Webselenese? Intrigued by the comments on customer age. Does it makes it more difficult to upsell? Is there any generational factor at play? Thank you. So I'll start from the second question. The average age of our customers is fairly low. We see that the majority of our customers between the age of 20 to 40 years old. By the way, it's the opposite to the average age of the AV customer base. And we see a lot of cross-sell opportunities, reminding you that the approach Kape is taking is not just to sell more products to each one of the customers, is to convert more and more people to the suite solution in a higher price point. For CyberGhost, we were able to take the average revenue per user from $45 to above $75. With Express, it's slightly different approach, but the same direction. Express having a simple subscription package of $99 per year, and we will introduce new features to ExpressVPN in order mainly to drive up the lifetime value by increasing the retention rate. There is a lot of potential, and as a SaaS business, we always try to optimize and maximize the lifetime value of our customers. The R&D spend.
Yeah, the R&D spend, we continue to spend on R&D as a R&D driven organization. We are not measuring the R&D spend out of our revenues, but we'll continue increasing the R&D spend as a company. It will not increase significantly though.
We don't have any plans to increase not only, but it's true that now we have two very strong R&D organization, both in the Express side and the core Kape. We will try gradually to combine the tech architecture, not in order to save operational costs, not at all. We like the fact that we have very strong and deep R&D capabilities in the different hubs, both in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in Tel Aviv, Romania, and Germany. But we will start to operate as one team gradually, mainly in the infrastructure, the product development, certain aspects of ensuring high quality of service, and obviously the learnings between the two teams will contribute a lot. We're just at the beginning of the process, but overall, as a nominal figure, we don't expect any significant ramp up in the R&D costs. What is the net debt at year-end? So we have the net debt from the club of the 6 banks, which is roughly $100 million. In addition, we have 2 deferred cash payments to the vendors of ExpressVPN, in total $345 million, which are 2 payments, $172.5 million on the first anniversary, and another $172.5 million on the second anniversary. So the combination of the bank loans and the deferred consideration takes us to about $445 million net debt as of the end of December. What is the main driver of customer acquisition, and where do you see competitive landscape? So first of all, the way we build and execute on our go-to-market strategy is from 3 main sources. One is the user acquisition channel, organic traffic sources, and the channel partners that now we have much stronger network following the acquisition of ExpressVPN. We continue to work in a high scale in all leveraging on the capabilities and the experience of the group in the 3 main go-to-market routes. There's no any dependency on any specific route. We work with thousands of user acquisition sources, could be YouTubers, influencers, affiliates, etc. And there is no any dependency on any specific partner. Competitive landscape, we like what we see. A lot of the assumption we took a few years ago, and we assume that as the market continues to grow and become large, the ability to offer and service in high quality millions of customers around the world will require significant R&D capabilities. And we see that it's created an entry barrier to the industry, which caused a lot of small, medium-sized players either disappear or to be consolidated into larger groups. Now, Kape is a market leader for sure in the consumer privacy and security market, especially after the merger with ExpressVPN. There are not too many companies in the world in our sector or in other consumer technology markets that serve close to 7 million paying subscribers and driving more than $600 million in revenues. It gives us a lot of capabilities to continue capture a lot of the market share and dominate the growth in the consumer privacy and security market. Okay, so Bart asking what was the organic growth just for Webselenese this year?
Around 40%, if I'm not mistaken, but
on revenue?
on revenue, yeah.
Revenue from third parties, circa 40%.
Yeah.
Can you provide any figures on cash flow for the year end? So we released the full set of results on the 22nd. It's Tuesday, the 22nd of March, which you'll have the full cash flow statement in it. I can tell you that we continue to see an increase in the cash conversion rates as we drive higher volumes of revenues from renewals. And as I mentioned during the presentation, in 2022, there will be another uplift, and we will be in the highest ever cash conversion ratio of 85%. Meaning that from our guidance of roughly $170 million of adjusted EBITDA, $150 million will be converted to cash.
That's great. Thank you. I think you've actually addressed all the questions from investors today. And of course, if any more come through, the company will review those questions. Ido, just before redirecting investors to provide you with their feedback, which I know is particularly important to the company, could I just ask you for a few closing comments?
Sure. So we are very pleased. I'm very pleased with the performance of the group in 2021. The fact that we were able to grow organically across the different parts of the organization, execute onto a highly strategic acquisition to make sure that they are being integrated well into the group. It's something that we don't take for granted. And what makes me even more excited is that from the 5.5 years I'm in the business, we are in the best position we ever been. We start in 22 with high degree of confidence in hitting our guidance for the year, and continue to transform and build Kape to be one of the global leaders in helping people to live a more secure and private digital life, which is very encouraging and very pleasant to see what we were able to achieve so far, and so many growth opportunities we can still execute. So it's just continue to do what we are doing, and realize the vision in helping people to live a more secure and private digital life.
That's great. And thanks again for updating investors today. Could I please ask investors not to close this session, as you'll now be automatically redirected to provide your feedback in order that the management team can better understand your views and expectations. This will only take a few moments to complete. However, I'm sure will be greatly valued by the company. On behalf of the management team of Kape Technologies PLC, we'd like to thank you for attending today's presentation, and good afternoon to you all.
Thank you very much.